Main screen turn on. Why hello there! I'm Yidoger and this is my co-commentator Nemesis. As with the previous two editions, this Discourse display will be about a Nintendo Direct again. Specifically the one released on the 1st of April. It's not an April's Fool's joke. As with the previous two DDs I did about Nintendo Directs, I'll show footage from Super Mario Advance 3 in the background, which I am currently doing a Let's Play of. If you're interested in seeing the whole thing, click this thumbnail to go to the playlist and watch it from the beginning. If not, no worries, sit back and listen closely. It doesn't even start with Iwata's greetings this time around, but with the reveal trailer of Mewtwo in Smash 4, even though he had already been announced half a year ago, so it isn't that much of a reveal. Still, a good chunk of his moves and alternate colors are shown, as well as his final smash, which is his Mega Y form. I stated this in an earlier Discourse display from before these games were actually released, that I had expected, for both Mewtwo and Charizard for that matter, that they would have different final smashes in the handheld and console versions, since they have two different Mega forms in the main games as well. Kind of disappointed that didn't come true, to be honest. We have custom moves, so why not have different Smash Ball attacks as well? But that's a discussion for a different video. So I often picked Mewtwo in Melee, so I'm glad to see him return. He can be downloaded from April 28th onward for $3.99 for the single version or $4.99 to catch him in both. And if you'd registered two Smash versions on your Club Nintendo accounts, you can actually get him for free with a download code you'll receive on April 15th. I'm one of these lucky ones, so I'll be sure to make a video about it then. There will also be an update with character tweaks and the added functionality of sharing photos, replays, custom stages and Mii fighters, along with the message for more DLC being available in the game in the future, giving the example of more costumes for the Mii fighters. Some general stuff like a monkey suit and Smash Bros t-shirt are shown, but also some awesome video game related suits and items, with my favorite being the Majora's Mask as a hat. It's paid DLC though, and while not particularly expensive, I'll save my money for other things. Then, Lucas comes out of nowhere, his announcement trailer mirroring Brawl's Subspace Emissary, since he actually saves Ness in it. He's planned to be released in June, and with this, I would personally expect Wolf, Roy, and Pichu to make a return as well. And it would be welcomed, by me at least, since they were all amongst my first picks in their respective games. What I'd like to see most though, is that if Lucas gets downloaded enough times, Nintendo will realize that a translated version of Mother 3 should be put on a virtual console. Yeah, a man can hope. Also, apparently, there's now an online poll on the official Smash Bros site to give out your opinion on which character you'd like to see being added next. I can't see this giving the more obscure ones any bigger chance though, but I guess it's a nice way to trick people into thinking that they have a say in things. Next wave of amiibos is announced afterwards as well, so ready your pre-orders guys. The DLC characters will also get amiibos at some point, but honestly, that was to be expected. A downloadable game for the Wii U named Amiibo Tap, Nintendo's Greatest Bits, is talked about then. As the title says, you need amiibos for this one. Scanning one of the figurines while in this thing unlocks a few 3-minute demos from games they've been in. Honestly, it sounds pretty useless, but at least it's a free download, I guess. Some Mario Maker footage is shown. They make it look cool, but honestly this seems like something only a select group of people will actually find making stages enjoyable. Still, the fact that it has 4 different graphic styles is nice. It'll be released in December, but I'm not really sold on it. Yoshi's Woolly World is shown next and reminds me very much of the Nintendo 64's Yoshi story. It has 2 modes, normal and easy, where in the latter you play as a winged Yoshi and it becomes pretty much like the first Kirby game where you can just fly through the level without ever being touched, apparently. Is anyone really waiting for this kind of hand-holding? At any rate, a new amiibo series will be released alongside this game, and they're made of yarn. That's actually pretty interesting, to be honest. Using it will make another Yoshi appear alongside you, allowing you to use it as a yarn ball to throw. Doesn't really seem to add much to the normal gameplay, but only a few seconds of footage is shown, so I'll not judge too fast on this one just yet. Splatoon is talked about again, discussing the new ranked mode and the Battle Dojo. The former is pretty much what it sounds like, and the latter is a couch multiplayer mode, which is cool because we honestly need more of this. One player watches the TV and the other plays on the gamepad, and you have to pop more balloons than your opponent. New amiibos are also announced for this game. Now, is it just me, or are the game announcements used as filler for the figurines now? At any rate, scanning these will give you missions to complete, which in turn will give you gear and weapons, only obtainable this way. So basically it's a new form of paid DLC, only instead of being downloadable, you now have to buy a physical object to attain it. Honestly, I can't really see a way of this turning out right. If the stuff you get this way is mediocre, there will be an outcry of it being a waste of money, but if it's too powerful, people will shout pay to win. It's a lose-lose situation. Talking about DLC, Nintendo 64 and Nintendo DS games are going to be added to the Wii U Virtual Console. Now, DS games aren't really that interesting since you can pick them up cheap nowadays and the 3DS can still play them. But N64 might be a bit trickier to play if you don't have the right setup. For DS games there will be different options on how to display the dual screens on the television screen and gamepad. And as for the 64 games, you'll be able to configure the gamepad to set the buttons as you see fit. But regretfully, nothing is said about connectivity with the GameCube controller for these control schemes, which would honestly be far superior over using the gamepad. Super Mario 64 and Yoshi's Island DS, how appropriate is that, will be the first games released in this series, with more to come. Several different indie games are shortly talked about, and a few seconds of footage is shown, but none of them really tickled my fancy too much. Still, interesting to note is that if you bought Mutant Mudds, you'll get a discount on its sequel Mutant Mudds Super Challenge, and buying the 3DS one will make it into a free download on the Wii U, and the other way around as well, of course. Also, buying Don't Starve Giant Edition as a promotional bonus will give you a free copy if you buy it that you can send to someone else. Now, these are things that I'd like to see expanded on with more titles. A trailer of the crossover between the Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei series is shown next, but while being cinematic, doesn't actually show that much gameplay footage or story elements. I've already given my opinion on Fire Emblem in the previous Discourse display, and I have never even played anything in the SMT series, so chances are low I'll actually pick this up myself. Spooky stuff next with the Fatal Frame game for the Wii U. Using the gamepad as a camera seems pretty cool, but most of all, it makes me crave a Pokemon Snap sequel. Box Boy is a puzzle platform game by HAL Laboratories that actually seems pretty interesting. Still, this company does have a knack for making easy games, so I hope this will be up to bit in that department. But at the same time, though simplistic, the games are always fun as well, so I have good hopes for this one regardless. Pokemon Rumble World. Oh boy. It's a freemium game for 3DS, much like the earlier announced and released Pokemon Shovel, which has completely dominated my gaming world the last weeks, and the simplistic gameplay of this one seems to be right up my alley. This will be released between writing this script and actually publishing the video, so chances are high when you are watching this, I'll actually be playing that. Speaking of Pokemon Shovel, the Puzzle & Dragon Z plus Puzzle & Dragon Super Mario Bros. Edition is talked about next, and since gameplay-wise this is pretty much the same as the Pokemon game, I will likely pick it up. I mean, it doesn't get better than this. It's 2 games for half the price of a regular one, so a good purchase overall. It'll be in stores on the 22nd of May, and I'm thinking about picking it up at its release. A new Atlas game, Attack on Titan, Humanity and Change, is shown next. It's apparently based on a manga and anime series, but I don't know it, so I'm not particularly interested so far. Still, they've released the first 2 episodes of the TV series on the eShop, so that's actually some pretty cool cross-advertisement. Codenamed Steam is said to have a demo available, and we're reminded that it's compatible with the Fire Emblem amiibos. Like, that needs to be rubbed in our faces even more. An update will be made that allows you to speed up the game, which is pretty useful in a game like this. Street Pass Me Plaza will get an update as well. 2 new games will be downloadable, the first one being Ultimate Angler, where you fish, and the second being Battleground Z, where you battle zombies. Bait in the first one, and weapons in the second, are received via Street Pass hits. I have yet to actually buy and play the other 4 paid games released in 2013, but this reminds me that I have to do that at some point. I greatly enjoy my time with the 2 free ones. Street Pass Plaza Premium is a paid update where you can add birthdays to your Miis in your plaza and put up to 100 of them in a special VIP room. Don't really know or see the use of this and why you'd actually want to pay money for it. But at any rate, these updates will be available at the 16th of April. Xenoblade Chronicles 3D is then named in the same breath as Fire Emblem Awakening and Bravely Default, both hugely popular RPGs on the handheld. But like I said last time, I already have this on Wii and still need to play it, so the added model viewer and sound test don't really sell this to me. The main character of the new Fire Emblem game is discussed, and it is again customizable as in the previous game. A trailer is shown, and further explanation seems to imply that you'll have a branching story based on your choices. It'll be released next year, so we'll see exactly how this plays out by then. A home decorating game in an Animal Crossing skin is then revealed. In it, you do just that. Furnish and decorate the homes of NPCs by following their wishes. It also uses amiibo cards that are just like amiibo, but instead of figurines, they're, well, the name says it, cards. And this sounds terribly lame, to be honest. You scan the card to go to the house of the animal on it, and by scanning further cards, other animals will come to visit and hang out. I'm pretty sure there will be people who enjoy this, and I'm not one to judge, but this seems like a pretty pointless, but more so goalless game to me. A loose scanner for the amiibo cards and figurines is also announced alongside this, and can be used by the older 3D models that don't have a scanner built in. That might be useful if you don't have the money to invest in a new 3DS, and still want to use amiibos in Smash or something, but I don't really feel like the support is that great to justify buying this thing. Mario Kart 8 will also get new DLC in the form of the previously announced Animal Crossing pack, which adds 3 new racers, 4 new vehicles and 8 new courses. The Zelda pack was pretty well received and I expect this to be just as good. It'll be released on the 23rd of April. 9 new amiibos will also unlock new costumes for the Mii Racer. And additionally, a new 200cc mode will be added at the same date, as well as a free update. Seeing as how the only 150cc class I was actually able to complete was in Mario Kart 64, this will probably not be for me, since I kind of suck. But it's good Nintendo caters to the veteran and better players in this way. Gives the single player mode some new life to many people as well, I'm sure. Again, more games need to get these kind of treatments. Iwata then waves us goodbye, and I'll say the same thing as well. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, keep track of my channel. I try to upload a new video every Friday. Alternatively, you could also check what I do through my social media sites, which you find in the description of this video. If not, I at least thank you for the few moments of your time this video took. So, hope to see you next video.